What is up, Berserker Patriots? Oh, you're all having a blessed day today. Hope you're all extremely safe out here. Oh, I just turned this on and they were overhearing the Supreme Court ruling right now for birthright citizenship. So we'll see what happens. Just so everybody knows, birthright citizenship was only put into place for slaves and Indians. That's it. Not for people coming here 10 years later.
Aware that there's a quote, a sort of allegiance for persons temporarily resident in the United States whom we have no right to make citizens. So Senator Trumbull says the reason I haven't adopted the language and meaning that they say should be packed into these provisions is that everybody knows that the children of temporary visitors should not be citizens.
Thank you, General.
Justice Gorsuch?
Just to follow up on that point, General, one interesting counterpoint about the understanding of Wong Kim Ark that followed with respect to temporary sojourners. And I take you've got your well-taken points. But there was, of course, John Marshall Harlan, the great dissenter, who dissented in Wong Kim Ark and later gave a bunch of lectures. And he posed the question about the sojourners. What suppose an English father and mother went down to the hot springs to get rid of the gout, and while there they had a child. Now back in England.
We have to go. We have to stand up.
States born of the jurisdiction
If we don't get this, we have to. We have no choice.
And he says, under Wong Kim Ark, he is, and he continues, I was one of the minority, and of course I was wrong. Now, I'm sure that was tongue in cheek, but now, what do you do with that?
I say two things in response to that. First of all, he gave a speech. We have 12 uncontradicted treatises that say the opposite, that is not.
So is this not actually live?
That's not the meaning of the clause. But also, I make a more fundamental point. When you're looking at Wong Kim Ark, one of the dissent has this dominant theme like you can't be doing this because you can't make and we all agree here it's obvious that the children of temporary visitors do not become citizens. And how does the majority opinion address that? It says domicile 3 times when it recites the legal rule. It says permanent residence and domicile when it decides to hold it. So the court should be bound by what it says. This is what we're
also don't just get to come here as a Chinese Communist national. Have your kids born here and then have them come run for office in America. That's just retarded. That's dumb. And birthright citizenship now.
Do you think Native Americans today are birthright citizens under your test and under your friend's test?
Of course they are.
I think so. I mean, obviously they've been granted citizenship by statute.
Put aside the statute. Do you think they're birthright citizens?
No, I think the clear understanding that everybody agrees in the congressional debates is that the children of tribal Indians are not birthright citizens.
I understand that's what they said. But your test is the domicile of the parents. And that would be the test you have us apply today, right?
Okay.
Yes. So
this country was not America, then it became America, and everybody that became a part of America at that point in time, the slaves and the Indians, were birthright citizenships. Anyone born in our country now obviously isn't, because they're already in our country, and they're not going to another country to be raised by communists and come back here and become our fucking president.
And then I just want to ask you quickly about the INA adopted in 1940.
You've known you're illegally in this country for 30 years, you still got to go. That means you've been breaking the law for 30 years.
Citizenship clause, and one might have a pretty good argument. I'm sure you got some arguments along just these lines that it should be understood to mean whatever it meant in 1868. But there was a lot of water over the dam between those two things. And as your brief points out, by the Roosevelt administration, there's a pretty strong jus soli move. That is to say that the thin concept of jurisdiction, power over, is enough, a broader understanding of birthright. Would there be an argument for reading that statute under its original plain meaning at the time, 1940, 1952, to perhaps have a different meaning?
You don't get to come here illegally, have kids.
We don't think that's the best interpretation. I get 2 reasons. One is it would be very surprising if a statute that says exactly the constitutional phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof were interpreted to mean something totally different or to ossify a then current misunderstanding of the clause. We think that the best analogy here is probably state long-arm statutes. Take a sort of non-controversial example. State long-arm statutes routinely say we're going to exercise personal jurisdiction to the extent of due process. It takes the constitutional standard.
Just because you're in the country country and you have a child does not make that child a citizen of this country. If you come here illegally and you have a child, your child's an illegal criminal alien.
Everyone thinks that phrase, due process, incorporates, the developing law of due process and minimum context and so forth.
Sure, you can call me gross, but I can conquer you, so it doesn't matter.
Looking at the constitutional phrase itself, you take it out of a freighted
you don't know what communism
the
is,
natural
clearly.
interpretation is say this means,
Clearly,
this reflects
no
the
country in the
objective
world
meaning of
lets
the
people just
Constitution.
come
The
into their
objective meaning
country.
of the
Poland
Constitution
kills
is
them. They
original
murder them on the
meaning
spot.
is
They shoot them on the spot if you try to break into their country.
That argument.
But it doesn't matter what you say, because we don't care about your feelings, and we're conquerors. We're not fascists. We'll just conquer you.
Constitutional ruling you want from this court, win, lose, or draw.
What up, brother?
Yeah, we think that the statute and the Constitution means the same thing. If the court disagrees, obviously we prefer an adverse ruling. If the court's going to do that on a statutory basis and a constitutional basis.
But you just disavowed that in your responses to me by saying that it's not an available option. That's the way I understood it.
Yes, the court would have to disagree.
If you don't exist anymore, it doesn't matter what you call us, does it? Because we write the history books, so it doesn't matter. And we're the conquerors that can physically end you. So that's all that matters in history. You know who writes the history books? The people that conquer the other side. That's just a fact. And we're going to conquer you.
About the text of the 14th Amendment, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, is distinct from the different language of the Civil
You know, it's a possibility that tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, Donald Trump is going to announce the end of the Iran war. And you do understand, we're coming back here, and they've already announced it on Trump's social. We're starting mass deportations, and we're putting. That's what they've been doing this whole time, is building task force to come for people like you. So we're coming for you. Understand that. That hasn't stopped.
That's an excellent point. And this court has
We're just doing this first, and we're securing global hegemony right now, which means people are going to be living like fat cats in the next 2 years. And on top of that, we're going to see military in the streets dragging you people across the asphalt. We can't wait, man. We can't fucking wait. And we don't care. Yes, I'm a fascist. I'm a racist. I'm a horrible person. Sure. I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore. You've pushed me to the point where I don't care. Yeah, we are pulling out of NATO. Trump literally told Europe to go fuck themselves. You can go get your own oil. I love you, Donald Trump. I love you. I fucking hate Europe. They let Muslims take over, and they're now a Muslim country. They're no longer our ally. They're our enemy. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you. Did y'all see that savage-ass True Social post? He flat out said, you wouldn't come together with us, and I told you, if Donald Trump didn't fuck them off, I was going to be mad. I got so happy when I read that True Social. He told them, get your own shit. We're not going to help you. Fuck yeah. Pull out of NATO. They're our enemy. They caused all these wars for money.
Given Wong Kim Ark, one might have expected Congress to use a different phrase if it wanted to try to disagree with Wong Kim Ark on what the scope of birthright citizenship or the scope of citizenship should be. And yet Congress repeats that same language knowing what the interpretation had been. So how are we to think about that?
I think baked into that question is an understanding. I think that was reflected in Justice Kagan's earlier question, that everybody understood that Wong Kim
They
Ark
made it very
history
clear
talked
in the
about
Federalist writings
refused
that the
that.
14th
There was
Amendment
a
was for
consensus that was
slaves,
far away for decades
so they
and
can now be
decades
legal
after
citizens,
the
and the
adoption
Native
of the
Americans,
amendment after
so
Wong
they
Kim
can now
Ark
be
was
legal
the question
citizens
of the
of the country we created called America.
And it's really not until, and again,
These liberals seem to think America is like 10,000 years old. We're only 250 years old, you assholes.
But there's executive branch interpretations and others. And if you're in Congress in 1940 and 1952 and you want to limit the scope of Wong Kim Ark or to eliminate ambiguity, why do you repeat the same language rather than choosing something different? For example, you could use the language from the Civil Rights Act of 1866 or some similar formulation if your idea in 1940 and 1952 was to not have ambiguity or not have an overly broad scope.
I think if you look at the structure of that statute, where it's 1401A and then B.
Are they specifically ignoring the history and traditions of the United States Constitution and all the writings of the forefathers? Because the writings of the forefathers make this very clear, by the way.
Codifying, which it was consciously doing in 1941, pulling all the naturalization rules and immigration rules together into one statute, said you go to one place, here's who is a birthright citizen. A, those who are guaranteed that right by the citizenship clause, and B through H are the ones that Congress has added through its naturalization power. So that inference to me says A is merely, it's not trying to change or alter the constitutional standard, just saying, hey, the baseline is what the Constitution says, and we codify that, and then we move on to the new categories.
Of what relevance, if any, do you think Section 5 of the 14th Amendment has here that gives Congress the power to enforce the article, the 14th Amendment, by appropriate legislation? Does that give Congress room here, or do you not think so?
I do think that a ruling in our favor would leave room for Congress. I don't think you'd have to rely on Section 5. I think that Congress has its own inherent power to grant citizenship by statute. So if the court were to rule in our favor for the classes of individuals that they say should be covered, Congress has the latitude to do that.
How much room do you think Section 5 gives, if any, and it may not be any, Congress to interpret the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof, or to define that? Is that relevant at all?
It's a great question, and I'm thinking about it for the first time. I assume it would be governed by the congruence and proportionality test for this court's case law. How that would apply here, I don't know.
They've destroyed our military and infiltrated with those trans assholes to the point where, we have military soldiers refusing orders in Iran right now. You're not hearing that reported yet. You didn't hear that from me, but we do have that problem going on right now.
Obviously, as a policy matter, supports what you're arguing here, but obviously we try to interpret
that's
American
Princess
law
Kiera
with American precedent based on American history. That's certainly what I try to do, and I think you try to do. And so why should we be thinking about, even though as a policy matter I get the point, thinking about, gee, European countries don't have this, or most other countries, many other countries in the world don't have this, doesn't that? I guess I'm not seeing the relevance as a legal, constitutional, interpretive matter necessarily, although I understand it's a very good point as a policy matter.
Yeah, I largely agree with that, and you can view it as being raised preemptively, defensively. I'm going first, but obviously the other side of there, amici say, make it a prediction, end of the world type predictions, and our point is, it's a very small minority because almost every country, and certainly all European countries, have a different rule, and the world hasn't ended there.
The other side, last one, the other side relies heavily, of course, on Wong Kim Ark, and you disagree with their interpretation. Oftentimes, when you are dealing with a constitutional precedent like this, you might argue, we disagree with that interpretation, but if you adopt their interpretation or agree with their interpretation of that precedent, you should overrule it. And you haven't made that argument here, and I'm just giving you an opportunity to explain
She
why.
has never been away from me ever in my life,
totally unambiguous in Wong
she
Kim
will
Ark
be
that the
14 in
holding
July.
Relates to
I'll be
domicile
44 in July.
aliens. And so we strongly agree with the holding. We think domicile was the touchstone, and we think that's not a coincidence for the reason I maybe speculate a little bit when I was talking to Justice Gorsuch about how the dissent raises this, and then the majority's like, we're putting domicile in there, so we know that the absurd conclusion that they say would come from this isn't there. But also domicile as kind of the sort of relationship that creates this relationship of allegiance that makes you part of a political community if you're an alien from another country. That's deeply rooted in their understanding when they're doing it. They talk about domicile in Yicwo against Hopkins in the 1892 and 1893 cases, and there's this deeply rooted understanding, again, that goes all the way back to the early 19th century. So we think that's a really important conception. So I mean, we disagree with some of the dicta in Wong Kim Ark that we discuss, and we think there's dicta that goes our way that the other side overlooks. And we're not asking the court to overrule dicta. We just say don't follow erroneous dicta and don't apply it to this brand new situation that was not decided in Wong Kim Ark.
Thank you.
Justice Barrett?
So General Sauer, I want to zoom out a little bit and think about
This
jus
is the first
soli
time
and jus sanguinis.
Amy's
So as
talked.
I understand it, at the time of the 14th Amendment, those were the two dominant approaches. Jus soli, the English common law, roughly following the soil. Jus sanguinis, roughly citizenship following the parents. Now, jus soli was very generous on the soil, the English common law, and so it extended citizenship to those born there who may not have been born of parent citizens.
That's not
But
true.
jus sanguinis, if parents who were citizens and had a child abroad,
That's not America.
then that child's citizenship followed the parents.
That's not
So,
America, you motherfucker.
One thing that's puzzling me about your argument when I think about the ratification of the 14th Amendment, in many ways it would have made sense for them, and you acknowledge the jus sanguinis in citing Vattel. It would have made sense in some ways for them to say, okay, we're going to follow, if they wanted to accomplish what you're saying they wanted to accomplish, you could say, well, we're going to follow jus sanguinis because we're going to make it all right on parentage. But instead, I mean, the 14th Amendment, we're talking about subject to the jurisdiction thereof, but it also says born in the United States. So you have the jus soli kind of point there, but you're saying it narrowed that point by tying it to the citizenship of the parents, at least as to soil. But I take it you're not arguing that United States citizens who have children born abroad would qualify for birthright citizenship. So it's kind of a narrower view of both the traditional jus soli rule
No,
and
the traditional use of this law and rule for America was to give slaves citizenship. The forefathers wrote entire books about it. Why are they not talking about that?
Discussion of that in debates.
I think you do. And I say, I think the right way to conceptualize it, it is much more, it is a modified jus soli. Because even the British sources don't just say you're born here, you're a citizen. They say you're born here and you have to be under the protection of the sovereign. You have to have a relationship of allegiance. Allegiance is the word in Calvin's case.
But they don't focus on the parents, it's the child. And your approach focuses on the parents' allegiance.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true of the
It seems a
19th
little
century sources,
ambiguous,
but
and I'm going to ask your friend on the other side that question.
let me point out then that there are two criteria. One is birth on the soil, and the other is allegiance or allegiance. What we have is birth on the soil remains the same, right? And so they are, and that's why so much of Wong Kim Ark is actually we agree with, because they are adopting a modified British rule. They are not going the French rule, that Vattel talks about, where it's like who's the citizen. That had to be done by statute, as you pointed out, which it was in 1401. But what they got is they say birth in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That is talked about as allegiance in the Congressional.
Do you not
debates, but they
understand
were clearly not
what subject to the
incorporating
jurisdictions
British
of
feudal
means? You have to be a legal
monarchical
citizen to be
conception of
subject to the
allegiance,
jurisdictions of our courts, you
going back to the
asshole.
early 1700s, our nation had repudiated the notion that citizenship is indefeasible. The expatriation statutes for the late 1700s reflect that. And again, you look at the 1868 Congressional report that we cite there, this is the same group of congressmen, Republican congressmen, and they say things like the U.S. Constitution itself is proof that Blackstone's theory of allegiance was not accepted. So they accept birth on U.S. soil, but then they take the concept of allegiance.
You want to talk about
and give it
Florida?
to
We've had a terrorist event every single fucking day for the past 2 months in Florida. You just don't hear about it.
Okay, let's talk about its applications. So, there are some.
I have a full-grown son that's in college at Brown University.
So what would you do with what the common law called foundlings? The thing about this is then you have to
I'll be
adjudicate if
44
you're
in
looking
July.
at parents, and if you're looking at parents' domicile, then you have to adjudicate both residence and intent to stay. What if you don't know who the parents are?
I think there are marginal cases. That one, I think, has the benefit of being addressed in 1401F, where it talks about.
Yeah. But what about the Constitution?
Under the Constitution, it's I mean, look, domicile is a constitutional standard in the whole country.
I do have kids, and in every country in the entire world, if you bring an illegal child into that country, they kick them the fuck out. Except for you Democrats in America. In every history and tradition, every time we've been in America, we've kicked them the fuck out. You don't just get to come to our country illegally and live here, period. You don't. You don't understand, if you're here illegally, they're not paying taxes. They're not they're not contributing to this country. Foreigners only hire foreigners. Foreigners only come together with foreigners. Foreigners do not assimilate to America. You have a country full of foreigners, you don't have America anymore, and then you don't have these freedoms to talk the way you are, and people can just kill you in the streets like they're doing in the cities right now.
How do we know whether the child is a U.S. citizen because the parent didn't have an intent to stay?
I'd say make 2 points.
They're
One
not an
practical,
American
one
citizen.
the practical point is under the terms of this executive order, you don't have to, because the executive order turns on objectively verifiable things, which is immigration status. Are you lawfully present but temporarily present, or do you have an illegal status? So those kind of taking evidence, so to speak, under subjective intent wouldn't be.
We have 1.5 million
constitutional point, obviously.
Chinese nationals that came here, had children born here,
There
and it's
may be
called
situations where facts
birthright
are determined. But if you look at the guidance,
and there are going to be 35 Communist Party members coming here to run for president.
The guidance provides, I think, very, very clear, objective, verifiable approaches to doing this. And so as a practical matter, I don't think it's presented by this executive order.
Thank you, General.
Justice Jackson?
Good morning, General. So I guess I am looking at your position in this case, and it boils down to requiring us to do at least these two.
You do realize that these judges aren't telling them they're wrong, right? They're literally reading a piece of paper telling them what the argument from the other side is. You do understand that's what's happening here, right?
And the second is to believe,
and then they'll make their ruling based off if they can convince them or not.
Was departing from that common law rule in the way that you suggest. That is, they were seeking to have this turn on domicile. I think
I'm an American by nativity. I have Seminole Indian blood in my veins. None of you are more American than me. My people are from the land that I'm in. You know? I literally talked to the Seminole tribe this morning. I'm doing an interview with the Seminole chief on July 25th. We're going to decide who we endorse.
In which it seems as though the court had already accepted.
And yes, that was me on ABC News yesterday.
Amendment that the allegiance that you were talking about was the English common law rule. That, in other words, allegiance meant that you are covered by the laws.
What does hair have to do with anything?
Rely on
right, I just shaved my head.
That's what allegiance
but I have hair
you're
on my
saying
head.
Today, no, allegiance meant something
Those
about
scars
loyalty
don't mean
or
nothing,
that
you know
kind
what
of
I mean?
idea. But if
Who
the Supreme
cares?
Court
I have high testosterone. I'm 45 and I have more testosterone in my ball sack than 20 of you fucking 16-year-olds put together. It's fucking hilarious.
I think your first hurdle is to help us understand why we would believe that when the 14th Amendment was ratified, the framers weren't just incorporating what
my skin literally glows red, bro.
Page 572 of the Congressional record directly addresses this. They say
I don't have a sunburn. My face is red because I'm a red man.
From the schooner exchange is what is meant by, or temporary and local
but
jurisdiction.
Yes, I have
exchange is what is meant by the word jurisdiction in 14th Amendment. Senator
my great-great-grandmother was an Irish slave, and my grandfather was a Seminole tribesman.
Whom we have no right to make citizens. So he expressly and consciously rejected reliance on citizenship.
What do we do with, I mean, that's a debate and it's a discussion, very valid, but then we have a subsequent debate.
That's where the European look comes from, probably.
Where the same
unless you're saying I look Middle Eastern, a lot of people say that.
At least from Senator Wade's perspective, that that's wrong. So Senator Fessenden, and I'm not sure whether these are senators, I apologize. Fessenden says, suppose a person is born here of parents from abroad temporarily in this country. Wade responds, the senator says a person may be born here and not be a citizen. I know that is so in one instance, in the case of the children of foreign ministers who reside near the United States, et cetera, et cetera. So it appears as though in that exchange, at least Senator Wade believed that the English common law understanding of what it means to have allegiance, to be a temporary person on the soil, was what was being announced.
Understanding the time frame that they're talking about, predominantly, we only allowed Anglo-Saxon people to immigrate to this country at that point in time. Remember that. We didn't even allow Muslims to immigrate to this country until what, 1958 or 1978? We didn't have Muslim people here. We didn't do that. You had to swear to a Protestant God to become a representative of this country in the beginning of this country. Blasphemy was illegal in the beginning of this country.
Appeal to a background understanding that we all agree that
definitely not a Jew.
Children are due to become citizens, and then Senator Wade has to kind of backtrack and say, "Well, what are they children?"
We'll come right back. I promise. Let me show these. Keep calling me a fucking coward. A coward would really have a wrong record, right? This is me. In case you're wondering who I am. You want to come attack me? I'm this motherfucker. I'm a live action target for you pussies 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And yes, you saw that right. That rainbow-haired donkey. So I'm in Southwest Florida, Port Charlotte. All you talking shit.
For example, children cannot, newborns cannot form domicile. So it followed every 19th century.
That assumes domicile is in the test. And I'm asking you, how do we know that Congress did adopt the test that you say it adopted.
Yeah, when you're looking at 19th century conceptions of allegiance, the notion that the allegiance, again, you say domicile is instantiating the concept of allegiance for aliens as opposed to citizen. All of that, the 19th century understands the newborn's domicile, its allegiance follows the allegiance of the parents. And I point out that their theory relies on parental allegiance as well, because they recognize the exceptions for,
So we don't have any politicians that are worth the fuck doing. Because if I were up here talking to these justices right now, I would be quoting all the Federalist writings that state that the 14th Amendment was literally for slaves and people that weren't able to be citizens of the country at the time.
Where we understood that parents were declared enemies of the United States. I'm talking about World War II and Japanese internment. Babies born in that circumstance were given birthright citizenship.
Yes, they were, as a special exception.
The concept of allegiance of the parents really wasn't driving birthright citizenship, at least at this period of our history.
So right then and there, the history and traditions of America is being scuttled by this fucking piece of shit woman.
Yes, they should have if they're temporarily present.
They were given a special exemption because we just fucking nuked their fucking country, bro.
How does the temporary presence run with your concept of allegiance? I'm not sure I understand. So can you be clear? Are you saying that only people who are domiciled here, as you define it, can form the necessary loyalty to the United States?
It's not a question. Allegiance is not a question of subject.
Yes, under the INA of America, the International Nations Agreement, you must declare allegiance to America and give up all allegiances to every other country to become a citizen here. It's the very number one largest requirement to become a citizen of America. If you don't give up allegiance, you sign a contract. You will fly no foreign flags on American soil. You will protest against America never. Or for any reason whatsoever, your status can be revoked from America. You have to swear allegiance to this country and be assimilate to America to be an American citizen. That's part of the INA in the fucking law of America.
Independently of any domiciliation. I know.
Why does that sound like fucking Ilhan Omar, that fucking retarded cunt?
It's not what the reasoning turns on.
It is.
Correct?
Is it?
I believe you're quoting from page 693 of that opinion. It goes on to say, not citizen terms on that, but the duty of obedience to our laws. It doesn't take the further step at that point and say, therefore, if you have temporary local allegiance, you're a citizen. And immediately before that, you have that page 693 summary of the court's holding where it says,
you say Wong Kim Ark incorporates.
Well, good thing nobody cares what a German says.
Definitely clearly expressed in the holding.
All right, one final thing.
This is America, motherfucker. Nobody cares what another country says.
Don't worry about.
We don't care. You know what we do to other countries? We conquer you. That's it.
Your rule.
We conquer you.
How does this work? Are you suggesting that when a baby is born, people have to have documents, present documents?
Yes.
Is this happening in the delivery room? How are we determining?
Okay, that's retarded. That's got to be Ilhan Omar. Because literally the second you're born, they walk into the delivery room an hour later and they give you a fucking birth certificate. And they give you documentation that you're an American citizen. That's how retarded this dumb cunt is. Because she wasn't born in America, so she wouldn't know that. And she fucks her cousins.
Completely transparent. You will still get
and they rape
not
kids.
Transparent. I'm just talking about the particulars because now you say your rule turns on
now
whether
that
the
sounds
person
like Nancy
intended to
Mace.
stay in the United States.
But she sounds just as retarded as Ilhan Omar,
so
huh?
we're bringing pregnant women in for depositions. What are we doing to figure this out?
No, as I pointed out earlier, the executive order turns on lawfulness of status. So if you give birth to a baby in the hospital right now, it gets the birth certificate in the system. There's a computer system.
So there's no opportunity. There's apparently no opportunity then for the person to prove or to say that they actually intended to stay in the United States.
Absolutely not. The opposite is true. Their opportunity to dispute if they think they were wrongly denied, which would only happen in a tiny minority of cases, is directly addressing that guidance.
After the fact,
Yes.
after their baby has been denied citizenship.
You're right, I am one to talk about it. Like the Smash cousin fuckers.
I'm not a
pedophiles. I prefer you to be not breathing.
Social security number. SSA says, look, a social security number, non-citizens can have them if they have work authorization. So it doesn't prove citizenship. We'll give you a social security number, provided that there's the system automatically checks the immigration status of the parents, which there are robust databases for, and then it appears no different to the vast majority.
Temporary status is not citizenship.
Thank you, counsel.
I know she's just asking the questions they make her ask, but they sound retarded when you actually know what the Federalist writings say.
Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court, ask any American what our citizenship rule is, and they'll tell you. Everyone born here is a citizen alike.
No, nobody will tell
That
you
rule
that.
was enshrined in the 14th Amendment
It's not
to put it
enshrined
out of the
in the
reach
14th
of
Amendment.
any government official
It
to
says
destroy.
flat out, those subject to the
Government tried to
jurisdictions of
strip
America
Wong Kim
only.
Ark's citizenship on largely the same grounds
Subject to
they
the
raised today.
jurisdictions doesn't mean
This
being
court
in the
said
country, you stupid motherfuckers. It
30
means
years
being
after
subject to our courts.
ratification,
And if you're not an
this
American
court
citizen,
held
you're
that
not
the
subject
14th
to our
Amendment
courts.
embodies the English common law rule.
We cannot
Virtually
try a foreign
everyone
citizen.
born
That's why we
on
have
US soil
deportation.
is subject to its jurisdiction and is a
That would be a
citizen.
direct violation
It
of the
excludes
International
only
Nations
those
Agreement
cloaked with a fiction
if
of
we tried other countries'
extraterritoriality
citizens.
because they are subject to another sovereign's jurisdiction,
Yes,
even when they're in the United States.
they
A
are.
closed set of exceptions to an otherwise universal rule. My friend has now clearly said that the government is not asking you to overrule Wong Kim Ark. That is a fatal concession, because Wong Kim Ark's controlling rule of decision precludes their parental domicile requirement. The dissent understood that, and the majority tells us 6 times in the opinion that domicile is irrelevant under common law. Lynch versus Clark was already the dominant American case on citizenship, and it held that the US-born daughter of temporary visitors from Ireland who took the baby
From
back to
Ireland, from an Anglo-Saxon
that daughter
country.
was a US citizen.
That proves right there, I told you, we only allowed immigration from Anglo-Saxon countries. Yeah, we let white people come here. Yes, we did. We're a white nation, a white Christian nation. Yeah, you're right, we did. We allowed white people to get birthright citizenship here. Absolutely we did, because we were a Christian nation, a white Christian nation.
That understanding was confirmed by Congress with its 1940 Act. The 14th Amendment's fixed bright line rule has contributed to the growth and thriving of our nation. It comes from text and history. It is workable and it prevents manipulation. The executive order fails on all those counts. Swaths of American laws would be rendered senseless. Thousands of
Wish they'd
American
tell us
babies
who's
will
talking.
immediately lose their citizenship. And if you credit the government's theory, the citizenship.
Go through my videos. I was in Los Angeles fucking in 2020 with that truck, you stupid fuck. You didn't do nothing. You were pussies. I beat the fuck out of a bunch of you. It's all on video. Go through back to 2020 in my videos. You're pussies in Los Angeles. I grew up and fucking, I lived in Deer Valley down in Los Angeles. What part of Los Angeles? I hate when people say that. Come to Los Angeles. What part of Los Angeles? It's the biggest city in fucking California. Are you talking about Dearborn? Where are you talking about in Los Angeles? My brot's in Thousand Oaks, California right now, living in California. And he'd fucking smash you. Look him up. It's Riot Rob. They're the defectors. He's the head of the biker gang up there in fucking California. And Sonny Barger is my uncle in fucking California as well. Look up who the fuck we are. Look up who we are. My uncle's on the morning news in your state every morning, you stupid fuck. A lot of people are fucking Republicans and Trump supporters in California. You stupid motherfucker. Yeah, you've ruined California. You have. You're right. That's why your state is literally failed. You have nothing in California. You just lost $25 trillion in tax revenue, and more is fleeing every day. They're bringing casinos to California, which are going to get robbed. You have shit in your streets, junkies in your streets. You don't even have a state anymore. You have a failed state. You live in a communist state. You can't own guns in California. You can't protect yourselves in California. You're a bunch of pussies in California. Come to Florida and do something, you fucking pussy. How about that? I was in California. Why don't you come down to fucking Florida and do something? I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida, Southwest Florida. You fucking coward. Fucking pussies.
Willing to rely on that particular
Thousand Oaks, California, Westlake Village. I was at the Thousand Oaks Mall 6 months ago. You stupid fuck.
About to say that since it's discussed 20 different times and has that significant role in the opinion that you can just dismiss it as irrelevant?
Well, Mr. Chief Justice.
That's where I was when I wasn't on the internet for 2 weeks. I was up in California.
Is in Wong Kim Ark. Justice Gray takes pains in the majority opinion to
And I
set
got
out
nothing
his
but love while I
analysis.
was there.
He first starts
Nothing
with
but
the
love.
premise that in construing the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause, we look to the English common law. That was the rule that applied from the colonial era on, at least.
Make sure I
for
get that
colonists,
screenshotted. That's a
and
felony
for
in
European
California.
immigrants. He then says, look, Chief Justice Marshall tells us in the Skinner Exchange what subject to the jurisdiction means. Again, looking to the English common law. Under English common law, if you are born in the dominions of the sovereign, you owe natural allegiance. And those who are present in the dominions of the sovereign owe temporary
Hey, you can say whatever you want about me. Your opinion doesn't matter. Sure. Will I have you put in prison or put down? 100%. You're my enemy. Whatever it takes, right? That's what you people think, whatever it takes.
Government's favorite page.
Yeah. I've had 13 of you fucking put in federal prison in the past 6 months. Absolutely. You threaten to blow my shit up? You threaten to kill me? You talk about guns in my comments? 100%. You're a terrorist. And guess what? That's what they're going after online right now, is people like you.
Universal rule of
You're welcome.
birthright citizenship to
This is our
embrace
time.
and incorporate the common law exceptions.
I got arrested
with the same
39 times under
additional
Democrat
exception
rule. Hell yeah, I'll put all of you in
exception for
prison.
tribal Indians
I'm not
in the United
okay.
States, which
I'm
is an
laughing at
analogous
you right now,
exception,
you stupid
and
motherfucker.
that's the
I
closed
enjoy
set of
you people.
exceptions.
I have fun with you. My favorite part is when you guys try to put your hands on me, it never works out for you, does it? You shot me 3 times and I still beat the fuck out of you. You caught me on fire and I still beat the fuck out of you. You can't compete with people like us. You just can't do nothing. You know what I mean?
We're always considered birthrights.
Let me
Ms. Wong, I mean,
see if
everything
I
you say
can.
strikes me as, yeah, that's the way I read it too, but then
I
what
don't know what
are
I
those
just did.
20
Hold on.
domicile
Let me
laws doing there? Like, you
go
could, you know,
through.
take some of them and say, they were just summarizing the facts of the case, but not
Give me
all
1
of them.
second. Bear with me.
And
Listen to
why
them.
did they keep on, like, why did they sprinkle that in the opinion?
Well, I think, again, those were the stipulated facts in the case. And it's clear we have textual evidence in the majority opinion that they were simply saying this is an a fortiori application of that controlling rule that comes from the English common law. Justice Gray writes, again, after setting out the English common law rule and the exceptions with a single
Hold on.
additional
Let me get my
exception
other phone.
for children of members of Indian
Why is that
tribes,
on?
that the amendment in clear words and manifest intent includes
Let me get my
the
other phone and
children
pull some
born
pictures
within the
up for you.
territory of the United States of all other persons of whatever race or color domiciled within the United States. And as was pointed out earlier, the very next part of that same paragraph, he cites to Webster talking about Thrasher's case. And he says, people who are born in this country owe allegiance independently of a residence within, foreign nationals owe allegiance independently of a residence with intention.
I mean, we come together every week.
Independently of any
You know what I mean?
domiciliation.
We got a bunch of people that come together every single
Of
week.
taking any oath of allegiance, which is totally contrary to both the government's theory of dual allegiance or partial allegiance and to the theory of domiciliation.
I mean, I might agree with you if domicile had simply been sprinkled in the opinion, but in Wong Kim Ark, it's a long opinion, but it begins by saying, here's the question, and it ends by coming
While
back
we're listening to this,
the
I'll take you
question.
through.
And it says,
That's when they shot me
here's
in the head with a
question stated
22.
at the beginning of the opinion, namely whether a child born in the United States of parents of Chinese descent who at the time of his birth are subjects of the
Same
Emperor
day
of
in the
China,
ankle.
but have a permanent domicile and residence in the United States and are there
Through
carrying
my
on
hands.
business. And he states the diplomatic exception, and he says, for the reasons above stated, this court is of the opinion that the question must be answered in the affirmative.
This is what my truck looked like before they started vandalizing it.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what is the holding of the case. Here he tells us this is the holding of the case.
This is
Why
the
put
trailer they
domicile?
stole from me.
It's just something that's
With all my
it's
shit
something
in it.
irrelevant that he wanted to throw in. It's like, whether a child born in the United States of parents of Chinese descent who once resided at a particular
Me and my dog are inside
address
this when
in
they
San
did this to
Francisco,
us.
who attempted to enter the country at the port of San Francisco. Well, why put it in if it's irrelevant?
Well, Justice Alito, I'll give you 2 responses. The first is that, again, it was a stipulated fact. The second is that regardless of what the judgment in the case was, which again was an a fortiori application of the rule of decision.
Yeah, that's the kind of views I used to get on social media before cancel culture.
Even if you think that Wong Kim Ark decided the case based on the stipulated facts, you
Been
have
in
to
the front
follow
page of the
that
paper
controlling
39
rule of decision.
times.
And if you follow that rule, you get to the same result for people without domicile. Wong Kim Ark says 6 times in the first parts of the opinion, as well as on the page the government focuses on.
Been on ABC
that
News a bunch of
domicile
times.
is not relevant.
Well,
That
on that, what do we do with the fact that after Wong Kim Ark,
That's the channel they
at least
banned
some
2 months ago.
authorities took the view that the non
3 months, I got up to that many followers again.
Wasn't decided, remained open, and even continued to press the view that domicile is required. Now, I know you've got a lot of good stuff on your side too, but what do we do with the fact that many sound legal
That's after being in handcuffs for 13 hours after January 6th.
I liked your example from Justice Harlan's lecture here in DC.
That's my
So
own personal
here's what I would
FBI
say.
agent
All
because of the
government's
Democrats.
citations in their brief generally either were rejected by Wong Kim Ark expressly if they predated Wong Kim Ark.
Post. If we're trying to understand how the legal community understood what happened in Wong Kim Ark,
Sure.
it seems to me it's a mess.
So
Maybe you can persuade me otherwise.
I think I can, Justice Gorsuch. First, as to the
Some of the stuff I used to sponsor.
government sites, each one of them is inconsistent with Wong Kim Ark's reasoning or doesn't mention it at all. Most of them have very little reasoning at all. And in contrast, what we have on our side, post Wong Kim Ark, is
When I say
numerous
these people cost me
federal court
$2.4 million and took
decisions,
everything
around
from me in the
time
past 6
of Wong
years.
Kim Ark,
Not
between
joking, bro.
application and Wong Kim Ark, that said that domicile is not relevant. They cited Lynch versus Clark, which again was about the daughter of temporary sojourners. We have the 6th edition of Kent.
I mean,
which
you
was
get
cited
it,
in Wong
right?
Kim
You
Ark,
get
of
it.
course,
I've
was
got
then
thousands of
cited
other.
after Wong Kim
Let
Ark
me
was
pull up
decided
my book.
by
They
many
wrote a book
authorities,
about me. Hold
again,
on. You just saw what my truck
discussing
looked like
temporary
before all this started.
Anyone who wanted to know what the law of citizenship was under the 14th Amendment after Wong Kim Ark would go to the 6th edition of Kent, where he says in that footnote on page 38 that the rule was Lynch versus Clark and temporary sojourners' children are U.S. citizens. We have members of Congress speaking on the record on debates on immigration laws where they were finally
Look, you people wrote a whole fucking novel about me that's for sale on fucking Amazon.
and they
That's
all
my
stated
truck before all
either
that. Before I put
Lynch
all the
was the
shit
law,
on it.
that Attorney General Bates had stated the rule,
You wrote a whole fucking book about me, you faggots.
and stating the
You
rule,
love me.
everyone born in the U.S. is a citizen.
You love me
and
so
saying,
much.
look,
You just can't stop thinking
children
about
of
me.
Chinese immigrants, these immigrants who are unwelcome.
You have BPS just like you have DTS, Berserker Patriot Syndrome. You can't leave me alone. I can show you the crazy text messages these people send me on a daily basis. Fucking insane, bro. They've threatened to blow up and murder all of the people that know me. They've tracked down customers of mine and threatened to blow up and murder them. You remember what, 7 months ago, I had to move to where I'm at right now because they threatened to blow up and murder my fucking landlord and came after him. But we're the side of fascism. We're the side that's holding them down, right? Come on now. Come on now. I'm the most canceled motherfucker you never heard of. I've been on the Alex Jones show, man.
That's the general rule.
And Ms. Wang, can I offer a possible explanation for why Justice Gray made a point of putting domicile in what he said was the holding of the case? And it is this. Wong Kim Ark and his parents, had they come to the United States from Europe, could have been naturalized.
100%.
But because they were Chinese, they could not be naturalized. And they had done everything that they could to make themselves Americans by establishing a domicile in the United States.
That's not everything you can do.
And so
Proving you're a
that's
good
what this was
American.
about. He couldn't get naturalized because of a racist law, but they had done everything they could to become part of the American society.
White lives matter.
At the same time,
Without white lives, none of you have freedom or civilization.
Who were horribly
None of you have fucking freedom or civilization without white lives. You understand that? There's no such thing as a civilized black country in the world. They all still have fucking legal slavery and they rape children legally. What are you talking about, bro? Africa, 1.5 million fucking legal slaves. All Arab countries, legal slavery. Haiti, legal slavery. What the fuck, bro? You people can't even, you say you're the oldest and most civilized countries, but you don't have a civilized country. You don't have any civilized infrastructure. You still don't even have civilized boats to get across the fucking world, really. Holy fuck. You don't even have
No,
sewage
Justice
systems.
Alito, I don't think that's a plausible explanation for why domicile.
Sorry that the white people are the only race of people in the history of time to fight a war and die so you can have freedom. Sorry, I'm such a horrible person as a white person that my people literally fought a war and died so you can have fucking freedom when nobody else in the world has, and you've never been able to take yourselves out of slavery. We had to do it for you. A bunch of white people had to go to war to get you out of slavery because you couldn't do it for yourselves, and you still can't because you're still legal slaves in Africa. So fuck you, you uncivilized fucking monkeys.
That it could be.
I don't care what you say
that
about me
Justice
anymore.
Gray emphasized domicile.
Fucking come to a country that literally fought a war so you can have anything you want to have and call motherfuckers evil when you can't even civilize your own fucking places? If Africa's so great, go to fucking Africa. Oh, that's right. They'll murder you if you do because Africans hate people that are born in America. I forgot about that. They don't consider you Africans.
Can't be naturalized. But
What it really is you're a bunch of self-entitled, lazy.
Precisely because Chinese immigrants were unwanted.
How can I be nice?
Precisely because he had to give this out into
Neanderthal-brained
public.
fucking
And
retards
people were going to say,
that
"Whoa,
can't speak
you're
proper
saying these
Ebonics,
people
that
have
can't
this
control your
baby has to be a
emotions,
citizen?"
and every
So
single
one would imagine
takeover that's
that it was
causing a state of
important
emergency
for a
all through the
standpoint
East Coast right now is a bunch of
accept
you, not a bunch of us.
citizen rule
All the
under
crime
these
that's happening around our world, it's weird that 12% of a population can create 67% of all violent crime, but we're the uncivilized ones? Fucking weird, right? Real fucking weird. Sorry you get mad about facts.
And as evidence of that, I would point to the fact that if you look at the briefing in Wong Kim Ark, you'll see that even though the
What's
parties
happening in all these
stipulated
Muslim taking
in
over states
the,
right now?
um,
Kids
the
getting
district court
raped,
that,
dogs getting
Wong Kim Ark's
banned,
parents were domiciled
women
in the
having to
United
cover their
States. When the
faces,
case came to
women
the
getting
Supreme Court,
beat,
the government's brief
everything that
argued
goes against the
that
histories and
it was
traditions
impossible
of
for
this
Chinese,
country.
immigrants
Every single
to have
thing
domicile
that goes
because
against the
they
histories and
expressed a
traditions
view
of this
that
country.
was common among people who opposed immigration by Chinese nationals to the United States.
And then people
There was
want
a
to,
common view
every time
that Chinese
you stump these
were
people and make them feel like shit, what's the first thing they do? Oh, Donald Trump's a pedophile. And you have no evidence of that whatsoever, and every single thing in the Epstein files exonerates him. You haven't read them, you listen to the media. I did them live for 5 days straight. We went 2-hour lives every day and read every line verbatim of everything Donald Trump was in the fucking Epstein files, and there's not one thing in there that implicates Donald Trump as being a pedophile. As a matter of fact, it says the opposite. The victims actually say in the actual court filings, when you read them, Donald Trump did nothing, and he said that was gross. And in 2000, Donald Trump called the cops on Jeffrey Epstein. So, I mean, guess what? All of your Democrats are in the Epstein files, though, within pictures doing things to kids. But you don't care about that. So it proves that you just have TDS. Because you don't care about the fact, if the Democrats are raping children, you don't care about that. The Democrats are sexualizing everything in the country, you don't care about that. You don't care about kids. Because if you cared about kids, you would help me expose the 100,000 people that were just caught up in the Discord in Florida that are raping infant babies and stabbing them in the brains for spiritual enlightenment to the devil. You would help me expose that. I'm the only one talking about that. And one 14-year-old has been arrested for that. And there's still hundreds of thousands of people. And guess where it originates? That's where the main server originates. Palm Beach, fucking Florida, baby. Palm Beach, Florida. Weird, right? Weird. So let me restate that for you. 14-year-olds and up hard-R-ing baby infants while stabbing them in the brains while penetrating a baby infant for spiritual enlightenment to the devil, and it's based out of Palm Beach, Florida, and only me and one sheriff in Tampa have talked about this. The mainstream media didn't pick it up at all. So if you actually cared about kids, you'd help me expose that. If you actually cared about kids, you'd help me expose the fact that Muslims are taking over this country, and every single Muslim country, including the 269 Muslim immigrant countries, it's legal to rape fucking babies. You'd help me expose that. You don't care about anything. You have no values that you stand for. You have nothing you stand for except for Orange Man bad, me love communism because it gives me free shit, even though I know nothing about it. Baby raping good, according to you people. You stand up for pedophiles, you stand up for Muslim terrorists, you stand up for everything that goes against this country. And now you've just made yourselves our enemies, and you can't handle the fact that we're smashing you. We're fucking smashing you right now. They're like, we won a special election in Florida. Republicans don't vote in special elections. That's a fact. oh, we won a special election that was set up because somebody got fired that nobody knew about.
The example of enemy aliens, for example, ex-party hearing.
But at the same time, you lost every single election in Illinois.
In both English,
every progressive candidate got
and the touchstone
disbarred
under the
and sent away.
American application of English common law was that in wartime, the touchstone is whether there's a foreign occupation of U.S. territory. So,
And that's, just to interrupt for 1 second,
Sure.
to clarify, and that is territorial. Sometimes it
Are we
just seemed
moving
to me
off
that
of the
rule
14th
varied.
Amendment
Sometimes
now
it
and
was
going up to the
stated
24th
as
and the 19th?
enemy
Is that what
alien,
we're
and
doing?
sometimes it was focused on occupied territory.
sure. So the rule, I don't think there's a separate rule for enemy aliens, and the government's briefs
There is.
describe
Hold
the
on, let me grab
exception
my
as an enemy
Constitution.
alien
Hold on.
exception. I don't think that is the best way to think about it. Rice and English tell you that when the British forces are occupying Castile, Maine, no one is subject to U.S. jurisdiction there because Britain is governing Castile, Maine.
Oh.
And Justice Story explains, look, if the U.S. then retakes that territory, babies who are born to U.S. citizens by what he calls post limine become U.S. citizens.
And
so that's the
just so
the
you
way
know,
to
we
think
do have
about
slavery in
any
America
wartime
still.
situation,
So
enemy aliens,
it's the
otherwise.
8th Amendment.
As
Okay.
we heard earlier, Professor
Okay.
Miller's amicus brief.
Neither
talks
slavery
about
nor involuntary
about
servitude,
enemy aliens in
except
wartime.
as a
Even in World War
punishment
II,
for a
when the United
crime
States was detained,
whereof the party
Japanese
shall have been
nationals
duly
and deemed
convicted
enemy
shall
aliens in the
exist
United
within the
States.
United
When
States
those
or any
enemy
place
aliens
subject to
had
their
babies
jurisdiction,
in these
or any
detention
place subject to
camps,
their
everyone
jurisdiction.
agreed that those
So
babies were
they
US
cannot
citizens.
be
And Professor Miller
charged,
goes on to
even if it's a
explain
crime,
that, there are many cases
in
of
America,
US citizens
legal
going on
slavery,
to a lifetime of
punishment under
government
law,
service to the United States.
convicted
Everyone
shall
agrees
exist
these are
within the
US
United
citizens.
States or
So
any
again,
place
the
subject to
touchstone
their
for enemy
jurisdiction.
aliens is
Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Let me repeat that. They said we need a congressional order. Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. You want me to reread that for you? Section 2 of the 8th Amendment.
We know that tribes are
The 8th Amendment is about slavery.
basically quasi
Shall have no power to enforce the article.
Of cases, we know from Worcester versus Georgia, where Chief Justice Marshall said that the tribes are essentially
Section 1 of the 14th Amendment,
Well, I understand
from the
that
actual
it's restricted
Constitution,
to
not by their
tribes.
words interpreted,
Issue. How, I
all
understand
persons
why the Indians are treated differently
born
from
or
the law.
naturalized
I wanna know
in the United
tied
States,
to territory,
and
tied to
that
status
is
as a member of a tribe.
subject to the jurisdictions
Special relationship
thereof
to the United
are
States.
citizens. So only if you're subject to the jurisdictions when you're born in this country are you subject,
Sure. So Elk versus Wilkins doesn't
okay,
really answer
are citizens of the United States
um,
wherein they reside.
two ways to
No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge that privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property within due process of law, nor deny any, because they don't read the whole amendment to you, persons within its jurisdictions to equal protections of the law. So only if you're subject to the jurisdictions of America. It says 3 times in the fucking article. Only if you are subject to the jurisdictions of American law. And then the amendment right before that, there is the amendment about slavery, okay? The 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdictions. If you're subject to the jurisdictions of the United States. If you're a criminal, illegal alien, you are not subject to the jurisdictions of our courts, period. Thank you, member. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I always have a constitution. Hold on, I've got another version of original version. Hold on, let me find it. I've got 7 or 8 constitutions, numerous ones. Okay.
The government has some maximum theoretical.
So then, when you go to,
could have exercised.
let's go to Article 5.
And therefore, that's the same.
And we'll go to Section 2 of the Constitution was modified by Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. So when it came over to the Section 2 of the 14th Amendment, representatives shall be appointed among the several states according to their representative numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians, not taxed. But when the right to vote at an election for the choice of electors for the President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age. Change of this section in the 26th Amendment. And citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged, except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the portion which the number of such male citizens shall bear the whole number of male citizens 21 through ages in such state. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elected of president and vice president or hold office, civil, military, or under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as any officer of the United States, member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may by a vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. Do you understand? So the fact that these Congress people have given aid to foreign invaders, they are legally subject to the removal according to the 14th Amendment. The Congress people themselves and the senators are subject to removal from office for violating this part of the Constitution. How about we read the whole 14th Amendment? Everybody only reads the first section. There's 5 sections of the 14th Amendment. Section 4, the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts insured for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, but neither the United States or any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave, but all such debt, obligation, and claims shall be held illegal and void. So California is suing right now because of ICE. The Constitution says that's illegal. Okay, Section 5. The Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article.
Permanent residents, all foreign nationals.
Ordinary public.
I mean, it's pretty...
Certainly encompass that. Would it not?
Justice Alito, if you think that the language of the 1866 Act was ambiguous, as Wong Kim Ark says, the shift to the language of the 14th Amendment, which is the operative text, certainly clears up any ambiguity.
No.
What I said about
I just read the whole 14th Amendment to you. It says flat out.
Father is true of children born here to parents who are nationals of other countries. If I'm correct, it's true to a child who's born here to Russian parents. It's true to a child.
I don't care. We're conquering. You do realize once we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow yet. You know, Trump's giving a big announcement tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We'll be live for that. If he announces the end of Iran war, we are officially the global hegemony again. You understand that, right? We will own 45% of all the world's oil production. You get that, right? you get that we will be so rich and living like such fat cats if this all goes the way we want it to, that it's not even funny. So if you don't understand that, well, then you're just a waste of oxygen in this fucking country. If you don't understand why we're at war with Iran and you think it's because of Israel, then you're a waste of oxygen at this point. You know what I mean?
Well, in all of those cases, the parents could be naturalized and the children would be derivatively nationalized.
That helicopter out here again?
When the parents are naturalized.
No, look, I'm gonna expose this right now. It looks like they're spraying our fucking waters again. It'll be what? The third time this week they've sprayed the poison in our waters and our lily pads. The third time this week. I'm gonna expose it right now live on TV. You kill our lily pads, you kill Florida. That's just a fact. They're spraying this shit all up on. Look, they're spraying big shit. He's gonna wear a mask to do it, but it's okay to spray it in our water, right? These are the guys that Matt the welder was just trying to expose. These are the guys saying they're not doing this live on Facebook this morning. They're not doing this, right? I'm exposing it right now. I've been exposing it for fucking years. Look, you can do a simple Google search. It'll tell you not to spray our fucking lily pads. They're spraying our banks, everything. Look, lily pads are all dying. You see all those big massive algae plumes down there in the water? That's what happens. Toxic algae plumes pop up when they kill our lily pads. Oh my God, that poison smells fucking horrible, dude. That smells just like what I spray fucking, when I do landscaping. Oh my God, that smells like Monsanto fucking poison. That's fucking Roundup. They're spraying Roundup in our water. That's Roundup. I promise you, that's Roundup. I've been spraying Roundup for 40 fucking years, man. I know what it smells like. I was spraying that shit since I was a little kid. I have a fucking whole big old thing of it in my truck right now. Fucking, that's Roundup they're spraying in our fucking water. That's why all of our fish are dying, by the way. When you kill the lily pads keep the water temperature proper. The lily pads are a habitat for all of our fish. The lily pads filter the water in Florida. That's what the lily pads are for. They filter the water in Florida. But you piece of shit motherfuckers come down here from up north and you say, oh, I can't navigate through the water. The lily pads. You know what? Fuck you. You're literally killing the state of Florida. If you kill our lily pads, that's why our mangroves are dying. Because you're killing all of our lily pads. And the mangroves can't fucking filter the water fast enough. Because that's also what mangroves do. They filter water. But when you have people spraying, look, you wonder why we're in a boil water ban in Florida? This is our freshwater canal, by the way. This is one of our only 2 freshwater canals left in all of fucking Port Charlotte, Florida. This canal ties directly in to our fucking aquifer. We drink this. We drink this shit, bro. You know what I mean? What the fuck, man? That's Florida. That's a state contract. That is a state boat. It's got a state of Sill, Florida fucking sticker on it. And they're poisoning our fucking lily pads. I've been trying to expose this for fucking years. Oh, no, we're not doing that. They were just live on Facebook this morning at the docks. I said, oh, I can go right outside right now and show you them doing this. You know, they're destroying Florida. They're killing our state. We're out of water. They're poisoning our waterways.
Did that, and that term does describe both the universal general rules.
Lily pads are a requirement in Florida. I've got you. I'll just do I'll make this real quick. We'll do a simple Google search. Why do we need lily pads in the canals in Florida?
Lawful domicile. Somehow
lily pads are essential in Florida canals to filter pollutants, prevent shoreline erosion, and maintain water quality by reducing algae through shade. They act as a critical habitat for fish, beneficial insects, and wildlife, while regulating water temperatures. These native plants also help absorb excess nutrients, which stop all of our plants on the side of the canals from dying. Okay. Water quality improvement. Lily pads act as a natural filter, taking up nutrients runoff such as phosphorus and nitrogen from fertilizers, which prevents algae blooms. Okay. Ecosystem support. The lily pads provide crucial shade, keeping water temperatures cooler, which increase oxygen levels for fish and aquatic life. They also serve as a fish
with your citizenship country.
maternity ward and shelter for predators. Natural habitat. They support a variety of wildlife, providing perches for dragonflies and frogs and breeding grounds for aquatic inhabitants.
That's right. The question that the 14th Amendment.
While 100% necessary, overgrowth sometimes impede boating, leading to management efforts in certain areas. You fucking pieces of shit. It says right on Google that's why they're fucking killing them. Because you can't navigate your faggot-ass fucking up north boats because you don't know how to be in the water down here, so you're killing all of our shit.
Would exclude the children of all foreign nationals, and that isn't what they're saying.
Exactly.
I just got a text that said something.
Allegiance, lawful or unlawful, has no play in this question.
I would say that the relevance of allegiance is the relevance under the English common law rule.
Are you calling me Spartacus, or is there someone in here named Spartacus?
Born in the territory of the sovereign owe natural allegiance. Those temporary-
I literally just read to you out of the Constitution verbatim, and I read to you verbatim from your own liberal fucking process why you need lily pads in Florida. They're an essential requirement. Your state dies without them, just like bees. They are they're a natural water filter for fresh water. Mangroves are a natural water filter for fucking salt water. If you don't have your water filtered, the animals don't stay alive, you don't stay alive, your state doesn't stay alive, your grass dies, everything dies. You know, all the animals in this area go to this freshwater canal to drink out of it. When they're drinking poison, when the bobcats go down there and drink tonight, and they just sprayed thousands of gallons of poison in that fucking water, you think that's not going to hurt those animals? You think if it can kill a lily pad and get all the way down into the roots under the water, 3 feet under the water to kill the fucking lily pad all the way down to the fucking root, that's not going to reach the fish underneath the fucking lily pads? Come on, man. Simple. Look, they're coming. Look, they're, again, more. They're still spraying more. Look, more and more and more. There's another one. That's a different boat altogether. They're going the opposite way, doing the other side. You got that guy going that way, that guy going that way. And yes, they have a state seal on their fucking boats. And they are spraying the fuck inside the water and well, that's all right. I'll volunteer right now to go over to Iran and fight. Gladly. I'll go fight for my country. Sacrifice my life, fucking citizens of this country. So we can have global hegemony again and actually have a fucking country with a great economy. I'll gladly go. Right now. Raise it to 44. To get it past 42, raise it to 44. I'll go in the military right now. Let's go. You know, let's run that shit. We don't have any teenagers to go in. So... And we're sending, let's get it straight. We've already got boots on the ground. We're already decimating them. We dropped 3rd Battalion. Well, we dropped 82nd in, 2 weeks ago? We sent 10,000 more troops right after that. You don't seem to understand. By the time we hear about it, it's already been done. It's not like they're announcing what our movements are before they do them. That would be strategically retarded. You know what I mean? We're already in Iran. We've already decimated. You know, we've killed 5,000 plus. Fucking now what's this, the 7th regime now we're on now? That's why they're not telling you nothing, because they'll just go murder this regime that's working with Trump at the moment. You guys don't understand strategy. There's a difference between being tactical and being strategic. Yeah. What are you doing? I don't believe it. You gotta tell me something. Did you eat your esophagus, didn't you? I gave her a bison esophagus today. She loves those things.
In the United States, to those Irish immigrants, we're citizens like anyone else. That's the intuition.
That should not realize her own words that all of these people they're talking about were strictly Anglo, white, Saxon people in the beginning of America that they were letting in for the exceptions for birthright citizenship.
The military to settle the country, and they
This will be the 12th incident now she's talked about. Every one of them white Anglo-Saxon people.
Founding aversion to inherited rights and disabilities.
Thank you.
Justice Gorsuch? Justice Kavanaugh?
On Lynch v. Clark, which you cite.
Yes, plant cells and animal cells are different, but Monsanto poisons have oils in them, okay? And they have
Debates about the 14th Amendment. I just want to get your response to that
the
point.
particle compounds
Sure,
that make it
not
bind
true,
together
though
to stick
Lynch was
into the
not
fucking
specifically
plants,
mentioned by
and that
name.
gets filtered
In
through the
14th
gills of
Amendment
the
debates,
fucking
it was
fish.
months earlier in the
And that
debate.
stuff is meant to bind in, so it binds in their
Uh,
gills. I
where,
showed you. We
Senator
counted
Trump,
last week. 392 fish dead at the end of the
Lawrence
canal right
talks
here,
about
right
the
after
great
they
case
sprayed
of
this
Lynch
shit.
versus Clark,
Every month when
where
they
it was
spray,
conclusively
fish
shown
die like
that children
wildfire.
born here are
I
citizens
expose it every
without any
month. Go
regard to
through and watch my
political
videos.
affiliation.
A lot of them are on Facebook because
And
they're
then, of
local
course, they
videos.
discuss the children of
You can just go follow me,
temporary citizens.
Berserker Patriot Store on Facebook or Joshua Pierce on
Isolate a
Facebook.
point that you've mentioned,
But
which is
yeah, they've been doing this for years.
if the
And then they
14th
put up all
Amendment
these signs.
used
If
the
you remember,
phrase,
back in 2015, they had all these news articles. Where are all these algae plumes coming from? Toxic algae plumes making people sick. Don't get in the water or you will get sick. Brain-eating amoebas popping up in the water all over the place. It's because our water's not being filtered properly. Okay, they caused this problem, and they're saying, "Oh, we don't know why this is happening." No, you do know why it's happening. You're killing our fucking water filters. That's why it's happening. The state's killing our shit.
Sure.
You know.
So let me answer in three parts. The first is that Wong Kim Ark tells
Not
us.
to mention all the runoff from the construction sites that are going directly into our canals. All this silica dust and all this concrete dust. Silica is very poisonous,
To the extent you think that the language is ambiguous,
and it causes tumors and
or
cancer.
not as good, let's look at the operative text subject to the jurisdiction thereof. The second point I would make is that it's clear from the debates that the framers in using the phrase not subject to
Okay,
any foreign
this is a
power
repeat. This is a
were thinking
repeat.
about ambassadors.
Clearly, right? We already
I
listened to
believe that
this.
Senator Wade at one point says, well, I wanted to
So,
start with the phrase. all
Either it's a
persons
repeat or they're just doing the same thing over and over and over
And then I
again.
thought, oh wait, we have these temporary visitors. In fact, the government points to
See if we can get a better point of view of what's going on with this.
Well, I wanted to start with the phrase, all persons born in the United States are U.S. citizens. But then I thought, oh, wait, we have these temporary visitors. In fact, the government points to this quote. He says, so there are these temporary visitors we can't make citizens, and we can't make their children citizens. That's ambassadors. And that's very clear from
So if that had been the text, your argument would be that was understood to be narrower than its text would read.
Yes.
But that's not the text, so I guess we don't need to deal with that.
Sure. And that brings me to my third point, which is you can't read not subject to any foreign power the way the government urges you to without making the children of all foreign nationals non-citizens. And that's clearly not what the framers were doing.
Cool.
Justice Alito and Justice Kagan raised an interpretive question that I think is important, which is, are the exceptions, you've used the word closed many times, frozen? Or do we reason by analogy to the exceptions that existed based on things that were unforeseen at the time? This comes up in the Second Amendment now, comes up in free speech law.
What Second Amendment? Do we have a Second Amendment? I don't know. We don't have a Second
CBS
Amendment.
News correspondent Natalie Brand is joining us right now live outside the White House. And Natalie, what do we know about why President Trump wants to be at those arguments?
That's why they don't have video footage, by the way, of the president. That's why it's not, normally this would be, you'd be able to see these people talking.
Extraterritoriality.
But
and could that
for the first time in American history, Donald
Sure.
Trump is sitting in on these fucking
I agree with
proceedings right
Professor
now.
Whittington, who says
I thought
the
we were going to be
government's
able to
position
hear
is
him
not
speak
positing
right now,
a
but
new application of the rule, but
I don't know, maybe later on. But this has been going on, we've been on here for an hour and 13 minutes now.
That he had floated the idea of attending
suggesting document destruction and purposeful evasion.
Oh, 72,000 people have died from blood clots from that shot, by the way. They just announced that in the court filings yesterday. They all said that wasn't happening, remember? I get copywritten. I love you, Dirty, but I get copywritten if I play any of your stuff. No, we're not going to get to his stuff either. Well, guys, look, we're an hour and a half in. I love you guys. I hope everybody stays blessed out here live at our normal time tonight as well. cancer meds are pretty expensive this month, so we're not driving, so we'll be live a lot this month. I launched a bunch of video games yesterday on indie games, just so y'all know. $1 a piece, good if you have ADHD. They'll keep you occupied, kind of fun. There's a couple hidden things in them. I coded about 30% of the game. The rest of it was coded by, I thought I coded 42% of the game, but I went through the code last night, and man, Claude's fast, bro. Claude's fucking quick. I'll tell you that right now. So that's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I got stuck playing it because I died, and then I got stuck playing it because every time I died, I wanted to fucking beat the level, and then I ended up going through all of the levels, and then it sucks for me, though, because I know where all the hidden shit is because I fucking coded it. What I got to do is get Claude to code it. It's $1. It's $1 for the game. You can download it, play it offline. You know what I mean? I also released on here, you can go on my fourth wall right now. We've got digital survival flashcards that you can download, checklist for bug out bags, over 100 plus items, 72-hour bug out bag checklist that you can print out, laminate. Compass navigation, fire starting, things you can use to start fires, stuff like that. We're going to be putting out a lot more stuff like that. So we got a lot of new products coming out. We got a lot of new shirts out, got a lot of new stickers out. I also have some heat presses and shirt sublimation printers for sale right now. The body armor is getting posted hopefully either tonight or by tomorrow. And the individual IFAC kits will be getting posted as well by either tonight or tomorrow. So we'll have a bunch of tactical gear, survival gear. I'm also in the process of having a publisher help me publish a book right now. And we're going to release my very first book. It's just a 52-page book, but it's the Florida Man's Survival Hand Guide is what it is. And it's a book I've been writing for actually quite some time now. When we went out and did that 2-year survivalist thing where I lived in the woods for 2 fucking years and lived off the land. We got all the information from then and just some good stuff coming out. You know what I mean? So I love you guys. I never thought I would be publishing my first book ever in my life, but hey, the advancement of technology is helping me do that. You know what I mean? So I figured enough people have written books about me, I might as well write one about myself. So there's 3 books out there written about me right now. It's the Florida Man, or the white rural fucking racist in Florida because of my truck. So, hey, I might do an autobiography about all the stuff that's happened over the years too. You guys have a very safe day. In the name of Jesus, we pray for safety for Donald J. Trump and any patriots that are actually trying to fight and help us right now. So I ask for blessings for all of you, even the ones that hate me. I ask that God comes into your hearts and into your minds and shows you that, man, the devil's a horrible thing. You know what I mean? You start fighting the devil. You start fighting all this evil gay. They're like, oh, Christians have to accept gay people. No, not if you willfully live in that sin. We don't. You know what I mean? Our job as Christians is to tell you that you're willfully living in that sin and you're going to go to hell for that. That's literally our job as good stewards of Christ, is to read the word to you. We're not judging you. You tend to believe when we read Bible to you that we're judging you. No, we're reading God's ultimate judgment to you. Anytime I've told you about the Bible, I grab the Bible and read you the passage. You know what I mean? I read you the whole chapter. I don't read you a verse. I read you the chapter. But if you don't believe me, read Romans chapter 1 all the way through. Just read it. Okay? That's God's ultimate judgment when it comes to gay people. And it's, 29 times in the Bible? Everybody's like, oh, a man should not sleep with a man and a woman should not sleep with a woman. What it says in the Bible. No, it says much worse than that, actually. It makes it much more clear than that. So, also, in the Bible, or is it Romans or Timothy, man should not wear a woman's clothes, a woman should not wear a man's clothes. Any who does is detestable in the sight of the Lord your God. You can go to 1 Timothy, chapter 2 through 12, if you want to know about who's allowed to be teachers and preachers and leaders among the country, if you're a Christian. I mean, there's many different things you could do right now to understand that everything that's happening in the world is in the Bible right now. Right down to the fire dropping out of the sky. Wait until you see the famine that's about to come. You people will be eating each other. Us, we'll be hunting. We'll be surviving. See, people like me, we can survive what's coming. You can't. You little city folk, you're not going to survive. If you're in the cities at this point, I feel bad for you, man. I really do. Because things are about to get real bad for you. And that ain't got nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's got everything to do, because it's not getting that bad for us in other places. It's only getting that bad for you people in blue states. Our gas isn't $8 a gallon. My gas is still under $3. You know, $3 or under right now in my town. So, I mean, our food, it went down. I just took videos. It went down by $1 last week over here. It fluctuates, goes up and down, but it's still going cheaper than it was under Biden. Regardless of what any of you Democrats say, everything is still, I can still drive. I'll drive my other car. I'm just not driving my truck right now, so I'm not going to rallies. Can't drive my truck right now. I couldn't pay my insurance this month. As soon as one of my checks comes in from the county, from the tree jobs I just did, I'll repay my insurance on the truck, and the truck will be out. But for right now, I'm not going to rallies or anything. Plus, I was literally going to drop that insurance company. If you have the General, you understand what I mean. They've raised our insurance every month for the past 4 months. My insurance just went from $85 a month up to $213 a month in 3 months. That's crazy. You know, so I'll also drop them anyway. I can get insurance through my bank now. That's what I'm going to do. So I love you guys, but you know what? This is what's called sacrifice, bud. You wouldn't know anything about that. I'm sacrificing for speaking the truth. That's what this is. I'm having to sacrifice because people like you like to attack me, and you're evil people. But that's okay. I don't blame you. I made these choices. I made the choice to fight against evil people like you. I made that choice. You know what I mean? That was all me. Everything that's happened to me was a choice I made. I don't blame you for it. I blame you for being evil, sorry pieces of shit. You know, you've made it to where you are my absolute enemy at this point. You know, every single broken dent, every single fucking fucked up thing, the fact that my window has to open and close like that now, my shit all ripped out, my truck all blown up from incendiary devices inside, seats all fucking blown to pieces. The whole side of my truck over here smashed up. No windows on this side. No window here at all. Put a trash bag on that window. It's all vandalism. It's all from you guys. You've cut my brake lines numerous times. That shit puts a person back. That costs a person money. But that's the kind of evil people you are. We're not out here murdering you. You're out here murdering us. That's the difference. And then you're like, Trump supporters are violent. You can't give me one instance. You can't give me one instance where Trump supporters have gotten out here and gotten violent. We can give you 1,000 just from fucking the past 2 months alone of your side getting out here and committing terrorist acts and murdering people. I read it to you just last night. 89 mass shootings by far leftist or Islam-inspired fucking people in 2026. That's 2 months. 2026, 89 mass shootings. 2,000 plus people killed from gun violence in blue cities in the past fucking 2.5 months. 5,000 plus people injured. What the fuck? All over the country. 247 schools shut down and evacuated in 2 months in the state of Florida due to terroristic threats, bomb threats, people threatening to take children as hostages and murder people. 319 churches shut down in the state of Florida from Islam-inspired fucking bomb threats. All leftist ideologies, not right-wing ideologies. You don't have fucking Muslim churches getting bomb threats and being evacuated and shut down. You have Jewish churches having bomb threats getting shut down. You have synagogues getting attacked on a weekly basis. You have Catholic schools getting attacked by faggots with purple hair. You know what I mean? You don't have any fucking patriots with body armor, tactical gear, American flags hanging off of their shit, going out here shooting anybody up. You have a bunch of far left weird wackos going out here shooting people up and murdering people. You don't have a bunch of white people out here in the streets taking over cities. You got a bunch of minority foreign people going out here in our streets in mass numbers fucking vandalizing stuff and taking stuff over. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. And you're so retarded. While you're out there vandalizing shit, you're like, the right is so dangerous. While you're out there murdering people, the right is so dangerous. The right is so dangerous. Why are you making us beat you? Why'd you make me beat you? Why are you making me do this to you? Why is this all your fault? That's the kind of people you are. You're people to beat women and then tell them You're making me do this to you. Why are you making me do this to you? It's all your fault that I'm beating you. Why are you making me do this? Why'd you make me murder you? It's all your fault. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. You made me murder you. It wasn't me. You're the fucking criminal, not me. That's the kind of mentality you people have. That's fucking weird. You know what I mean? You murder people and you're like, oh, I'm a victim. No, you're a cold-blooded, psychopathic cunt murderer. That's what you are. And you deserve nothing but the horrible things of life. You're a waste of the oxygen that you breathe. Do you understand? You're violent people. Period. Period. I've never come after you and got violent. You've come after me every time. Every single time. I never have to come after you. All I have to do is speak the truth and give you some facts. And that's like a bullet straight to your brain. Pah! Headshot. Pah! Constitution. Headshot. Pah! There's only two genders. Headshot. Pah! Muslims are terrorists. There's only a headshot. Pah! You know what I'm saying? Every time. Donald Trump's awesome. Headshot. Pah! Donald Trump's the best president of my lifetime. Headshot. Pow! Donald Trump's not a pedophile. Everything refuses that headshot. Pow! That's why you carry those little fucking retarded horns, those air horns around. Because the moment someone wants to spit facts at you, you just try to silence them. But we're the fascists. But literally all you can do is try to silence us. You can't debate us. You can't have civil conversation with us. You try. I was watching Cam Higsby debate with a girl on, well, she was on Unmingle, which is a dating app. And it's on Omi TV, which, by the way, I just downloaded Omi TV, and we're going to start going live, and I'm going to go talk to these teenagers. Because everybody was talking shit about this girl with the black hair on one side and the white hair on the other side. But, bro, she was genuinely listening to him. She was a young girl that was 18 years old. She was not too set in her beliefs to where she didn't sit there for the entire conversation. And every time she said, that's interesting, she was truly listening to him. And I guarantee you, she went and checked his channel out. And I guarantee you, after that conversation they had last night, some of the things that she thought before she talked to Cam Higsby last night changed. Because she literally didn't have the facts. You know what I mean? But she's 18, and she's got 18-year-old pride. So, of course, she didn't say, oh, you're right, I'm wrong. But she did say, that's interesting after every one of them. So when we have children, she's your child. I'm sorry, but you're a child. You're an 18-year-old able to sit and listen in this brainwashed fucking and say, that's interesting, and not end the fucking thing and skip over to the next person. Good on you, sweetheart. Good on you for that. That's what we need. That's the whole point, people. That is the whole point of all of this, of what we're supposed to be doing on here like this, is to get these people to talk to us. So when they do talk to us, even if they're being a little obstinate towards us, a little standoffish, because they're young and they're prideful, like we were young and prideful at one time, and now we have to be the full-grown ass adult. When we talk to this younger generation, we have to have a little more patience with them, because they literally have no life experience, none whatsoever. They've never accomplished anything. They've never done anything to help this country. They haven't contributed yet. They're still children. And the only way to help them be able to contribute is to have a little patience and try to explain the facts to them and hope they hear them. And then if they don't, well, then it's a lost cause. But we can at least try to have civil discourse with them and not insult them while they're doing their best with their limited capacity in this generation to pay attention. You know what I mean? So that's another thing we kind of got to get better at with the right is that's what Charlie Kirk was good at. And that's why they murdered him. You know what I mean? Because regardless of what you say about Charlie Kirk, he never insulted any of you. As a matter of fact, he always said, I understand that. I get that. He said, you're right, and that's your opinion. He was always, he's like, now, so why do you feel like this? He always wanted to know how you felt. He always wanted to figure out your side of the story, and he never, ever knocked you for it. He just gave you his side of the story. And that, headshot. That was a headshot for you guys. So that's why you murdered him. You know what I mean? That's why you murder people. Because you don't have facts. You don't have logic on your side. So you have to lash out like a big dumb retard and you just hurt people. Because you can't talk. You don't have logic. You don't have facts. You don't have truth on your side. If you did, you would be like us and you wouldn't be out here in the streets getting violent. You're like, well, how come Trump supporters aren't out here? Because we won. Trump is the president. We don't need to counter protest you. He's our president. We won. We won the election. There's no protest. We don't need to protest. You know, I mean, that doesn't make sense. Why aren't you protesting the fact that we have against the king? Because he's our king now. We want him to act like 10% of the king you're asking him to be at this point. We would have never said that before. Now we don't care what happens to you. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. At least some of us don't. The ones that truly give a fuck about this country, we understand that we've already had to do this once in history. Look at what we did to the communists the first time. That's what we're going to do again. So just understand, that's where this is going. In every facet of American history, anytime communism or any of Islam have tried to do what you're doing right now, we've literally just ended you. We're just going to get another 1954 Communist Control Act, and then it's going to take years for it to go through courts, and we'll just be able to kick a bunch of communists out of our country. That'll be great. I just read to you verbatim in the Constitution where it says all these Congress people that are aiding and abetting these foreign people are supposed to, it's not an impeachment, it's an automatic removal by the executive branch. And why they haven't done that, that's why, you know, I'm a little wary about what's going on. And in my opinion, if Democrats get in office, at least we get to kick this shit off because we know who our enemy is. You know what I mean? I'm not campaigning for Democrats, but hey, I'm just saying, we'll at least get this war kicked off if Democrats come into office. Because you better believe the first time they come after one of us Trump supporters, we're fighting back this time. You understand that, right? And once one of us fights back, it's just going to be a thing. Have a blessed day. Be safe. I'll see you in a few hours.